she's 60 and that she's finally saying that she wants to settle down, that she's putting in applications for boyfriends. She's searching for a husband. You're 60. You're literally 60 years old. Like, this woman's old enough to be my mother. She's old enough to have given birth to me, right? It's your boy Dano back again with another video, and it is glorious. It is glorious indeed, friends. Thank you for coming back and joining me for another reaction video. So let's get into it.
I need y'all to quit saying that single mothers aren't accountable.
Some single mothers are not accountable, right? But let's see what he says. Let's continue.
Because accountability looks like raising your child, even if that means you got to do it by yourself.
Okay, so what I think that he is talking about are videos where men are saying that single moms are not holding themselves accountable. Usually when men are making those type of videos, what they are saying, or better yet, what we are saying, is that the single mothers are not holding themselves accountable for the reason that they are single mothers. Now, granted, there are situations where women cannot help that they became single mothers through no fault of their own, right? They may have gotten with a man who may have gotten murdered by no fault of his own, right? Or he may have died for some reason, or something that's out of their control, right? We get it. Those situations happen. But more than often, women are single mothers because they chose poorly, right? That is what men are saying that women have to be, these single mothers have to be accountable for. The same thing goes with single fathers. You have to be accountable for your situation, right? If you chose poorly, you chose poorly. And that's usually the case with these women. It's not about being accountable for the children. That's not what they're talking about. See, brothers like this, they might as well walk around with a cape on their back and wear a cap that says simp on it, honestly, because people like this, they're pandering, right? And I want to say this to the ladies out there: watch out from people like him, because he'd be the same fool that sit there and try to defend bad women, and yet when you pull the skeletons out of his closet, he's sleeping with all of these women and being a big hypocrite. Now, I'm not saying that that's him, but I'm saying that a lot of people like that. For example, Dr. Umar and all the allegations against him, right? He panders towards black women, but that's only because he uses black women for purposes for him. We know what I'm talking about, right? So watch out from people who pander like this guy. Obviously, he must not watch enough videos where brothers are saying, hey, ladies, you need to hold yourself accountable for being a single mother, because in most cases you chose poorly and the red flags were there. You just chose to ignore them for various reasons, right? So that's what men are saying when they say, hey, ladies, hold yourself accountable for being a single mother. And this shoe goes on the other foot for men, right? Anyways, let's continue.
Sometimes you cry yourself to sleep because you ain't got no motherfucking help. Nobody want to babysit this kid. So half the time you don't have a social life.
Yeah, and that's because in most cases they chose poorly. I've seen it. I have a sister who's literally a year younger than myself. She chose poorly. She made a lot of wrong decisions. I'm not here to bag on her. She made a lot of wrong decisions. Actually, her daughter that she had when she chose poorly, when she slept with the guy who she slept with, she actually graduated yesterday. So congrats to my niece. I love you, baby girl. You're doing your thing. But getting back to what I was saying, you know, it does suck. I get it. It does suck to raise a child on your own, because honestly, I feel like it takes a village to raise a child. And the reason why my niece got to where she is because she had a village. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, you should take on these single mothers' problems, right? I'm not saying that. I'm definitely not saying that, you know, you should pick up their baggage. I'm not saying that at all. But sometimes, you gotta look past that and you gotta look at the greater good for our community and for our children. And sometimes you gotta pick up those pieces. That's why I think that, and this is my advice for single mothers, try if you can. I'm not telling you to be obsessive with it. Try to get your family involved. Try to get the father involved if you know who he is, right? Try to get him involved in the child's life. And if he doesn't want to do it, then there are definitely men out there who are in community organizations that will be like a big brother, a father figure to your child, especially your sons. They're out there, rec centers, football teams, all of that. Those brothers will go in and they will kind of fill that gap a little bit of what that child may be missing, right? But going back to what he was saying, yeah, you're as a single mother, yeah, it is hard. That's why you choose correctly. That's probably one of the most important decisions that a woman can make in her life is choosing the right person to have a child with. See, today's society, young women, and it's been going on for decades, right? It isn't anything new, but young women today have been taught that they can be just like men, even though all men don't cheat, sleep around, and have multiple sex partners. That's not what regular men do. It's a small percentage of men who do that. But in today's society, through the media, they teach women or young girls, young ladies, that they can be just like those men, those type of men, to sleep around, have a hot girl summer, be like Sexy Red and all these other scallywags, right? For lack of better words, right? And that is no good for these young ladies because it's setting them up to be a single mother. It helps them choose poorly. So you're going to struggle. You're not going to have support. If you're messing with a guy who is no good, there's a good chance that he's not going to be a good father. There's a good chance that he's not going to be a good husband, right? So that's what we're talking about. Be accountable for your actions. If you're a single mother, through the results of choosing poorly, that is your fault. No one else's. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the guy was a terrible guy. We get it. But the red flags were there. A lot of these young women today, they want to get with these guys who they think are bad boys, right? If he's a bad boy, that means he's going to be a bad father, a bad husband, right? In most cases, right? Not all the time, right? But if he's a bad guy, if he's out here selling drugs, using drugs, there is a great chance, I can tell you this, there is a great chance that he's not going to be a great father or a great husband. It's just what it is, right? And also, I'm not going to give a standing ovation to, these single mothers that are doing what they're supposed to do. I'm a father. Now, mind you, I am married, and my wife and myself, we both take care of our son, but we're doing what we're supposed to do. We did it the right way. We got married, and that we planned on having our son, right? While you got other people out here who don't plan their children. They're not married. They're not even planning on getting married, right? They choose poorly. They have their child. They struggle. And yeah, your child may grow up to be a great person, a great human being. And maybe the single mother is doing the best she can. I do commend that, but I'm not going to, salute you and hold you to the highest honors because you're doing what you're supposed to do. He's trying to make it seem like, they should be held at a very high esteem because they're doing what they're supposed to do and they're overcompensating. A person should never have to overcompensate. There should be a father in the house. There should be a mother in the house. Just because the mother is making up for the lack of a father being in the house, I'm not going to, stand on the rooftops and salute them because they made their lives harder. I'm not going to do that. It is what it is. I do feel bad for these single mothers, but they have to choose better. these young ladies, and see, this video really isn't for the single mothers out there. Sure, take my advice and use it, right? But this video are for those young ladies who don't have children yet and are out here sleeping with Pookies and Ray Rays. Cut that out, because it's going to lead you down a road of hardship. You do not want that. Trust me.
You struggle because you got to pick between whether I get my nails done or whether my kid gets to go to football practice today.
Broski, come here. Come here. Come here. Really, my guy? You do not have to be a single mother to make rational decisions. We do that all the time, right? You have to choose between what is important, what isn't important, right? People do that all the time. Married couples do that all the time. It's called budgeting, right? It's called being rational with your money, making rational decisions. What's more important? You have to decide what is more important. I do that all the time with my money. I'm not a single mother. I'm a married man. So I don't get why he brought that up. Like, they struggle. They have to choose between their nails and taking their son to football practice. Okay, what's more important? Your nails or football practice? I will hope that if your son, if he really enjoys football and that's something that he wants to do, I will hope that is more important than getting your nails done. Who would make that type of decision? That's like me choosing between going and getting my $40 haircut or paying for football equipment for my son. I'm gonna go with a jacked up hairstyle for, until I get the money to do it when it makes sense, right? In order to, like, for example, when we were in the process of buying a house, we were saving up all the money we could, right? So I went probably like about a month or two without getting my hair cut, because it's like $30 to $40 a pop, right, to get your hair cut. And I don't get anything complicated, right? But the point that I'm making is that you have to make rational decisions, and especially if you're a single mother and you're struggling, you have to make decisions like that. But the thing is that everyone makes those type of decisions. You have to weigh out what's more important. You don't have to be a single mother to do that. I don't get this dude's point of bringing it up. But see, like I said, he's caping right now. He's trying to get up his viewership, and he's trying to get a lot of ladies behind him, because women eat this shit up. Women, they follow the echo chamber. Wherever they hear someone repeating their thoughts, they're going to flood to it and they're going to support it, because women, they spend more money than men. Men, we're a little bit more frugal with our money. Women, they will spend money. And see, people like Dr. Umar, people like Tariq Nasheed, people just like that. I'm not going to say Tariq panders necessarily towards women. He does, but he's not as open or overt with it, right? But people who pander to women, like a lot of these churches and stuff like that, they do it because they know women spend money. Women will spend money on things they like, right? And if you're pandering towards them, they will support you even financially, right? So that's why a lot of these guys, they will put on these capes for women, especially women with bad behaviors. They're going to cape for women who exhibit these bad behaviors, so ladies, people like this aren't helping y'all at all, because they're not telling you the truth. Quite often, you have to hear the raw truth. That's how you're going to grow. You take that truth, you ingest it, you analyze it, and then you learn from it, and then you grow from your previous state. That is what you're supposed to do. But when you have people out here like this guy who's pandering towards bad behavior, you're never going to grow. You're going to stay stuck. You're going to keep making short little TikTok videos crying. And then your boy Brandon, he's going to stitch you into his song every time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, come on. People like this guy right here, they're really on demon time. This guy is a demon. Well, I'm not going to say he's a demon, but what he's talking about is some demonic stuff right now, right? Because he's not trying to help you guys out at all. He's just pandering. That's all he is doing. Anyways, let's continue.
That's what accountability looks like. Somehow I'm gonna stretch this dollar I got and make it into eggs, milk, make it into covers. I don't know how.
My guy, that is what you're supposed to do. That is what you're supposed to do as a parent. As a parent. I mean, any logical human would do that, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't get the point that he's trying to make.
I gotta work 48 hours in 2 days, but I'm gonna make it to a PTA meeting.
This guy said he's gonna work 48 hours, or she's gonna work 48 hours in 2 days and still make it to a PTA meeting. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, people like him are ridiculous, nonsensical, but he's gonna say anything that sounds good to y'all so that y'all can support him. He's not doing you ladies any service at all. Trust me. I make videos like this, criticizing the bad behaviors of women only because I care. I don't think that's what women understand. We criticize bad behavior because we care. We want to see women do better in general. That's just what it is, right? But people like him, he could care less. He may seem like he cares about women, but he doesn't, because he's not telling them what they need to hear. They don't need to hear this shit. They don't need to hear that. Now, like I said, kudos to the women who actually realize their mistake and they're trying to grow from that mistake, right? They're like, you know what? I take accountability. I chose wrong. I saw a video probably about 2 weeks ago where there was this woman, she was at a podcast and she said she chose wrong. And she had called the guy and told her, hey, I had your son, want you to be in your son's life. And he's like, hey, we didn't plan this, I'm not going to be in this child's life. He essentially said that he has nothing to do with that situation. And she was like, okay. She internalized that. She analyzed it. She learned from it and she grew. She was like, never again will that happen. And then she took care of her business, right? I respect women like that. She said, never again will that happen to her. She's going to make sure that she does it the right way next time. Now, all women won't. This woman happened to be a beautiful young lady, but not all women are lucky enough to get that second chance, right? But I respect women who realize their faults and then they grow from it, right? Because we're all humans. We all make mistakes. I get it, right? I'm not a red pill guy who's going to sit here and pretend that women have to be perfect and that they're these like robots who cannot make any mistakes, right? I get it. Women, just like as men, we're humans. We make mistakes. I get it, right? But it's all about being accountable for your actions, realizing that you messed up and then growing from that, right? Not one of these women who sit here and mess up and they just say, woe is me. And then you have to pull out the smallest little violin for them, right? And they don't realize that they were the ones who caused the situations or caused the issues that arise in their lives, right? This guy's a demon. This guy's a demon, ladies. He's a demon. Watch out for him.
I'm gonna call him, make sure his homework is done. That's what accountability fucking looks like. So quit saying that single mothers are not being accountable for their actions. Accountability means you take care of your responsibility no matter how the fuck they got here. What y'all need to do is start talking to these deadbeat ass niggas about accountability, because y'all seem to protect them far more than you protect single moms.
So, like I said, that is when a woman does that, that's what she's supposed to do. That's what she's supposed to do. She is being accountable for raising her child. That's not what we're talking about, my guy. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, hey, be accountable for your actions, because what happens is that there becomes a vicious cycle, right? I know women in my life personally who makes these same decisions, same bad decisions over and over again. We're saying we don't want to see these women make those same bad decisions over and over again, because yes, they will raise their children, right? They will raise their children as they should. But the thing is that these women, they will have about 2 or 3 baby dads and then working on a 4th baby dad. And it's like, you just keep creating and keep building on this broken home. That's what we don't want to see. That's what we're talking about. Hey, ladies, you're lacking accountability in that department, because you're like, oh, you have baby daddy 1, right? You have a child with him and it doesn't work out. He's a drug dealer. He's a, whatever, right? And then you mess around and then you end up with baby dad 2. Mind you, he has the same characteristics as baby dad 1, right? And it's like, whoa. Now, since you broke up with baby dad 2, you're saying that all men are bad. And it's like, wait a second. Yeah, those guys are terrible people. They are bad. Most of us guys who are in the middle, we always talk about, yeah, those men were bad, but you chose them. You chose those men. And that's what we're saying. Hold yourself accountable for it, because you chose those men, right? You chose those bad men. That's just what it is. But a lot of times these women, I see it all the time. I see it on social media all the time. Even people who I went to school with, people in my personal life saying, hey, all these men are the same. They're bad. They're terrible. No, it's not, because look what I got. Look what my wife got. She has a ring also, right? So it's not about that all men are bad. That's just the easy route out. Maybe it's you who choose poorly. Maybe it's you who don't know what qualities a man should have, right? That's all we're saying. So when you're out here having 2 or 3 baby dads, that's because you are not choosing well. And you need to hold yourself accountable for choosing poorly. That's all we're saying about these single mothers, because in most cases, single mothers have more than 1 baby dad. That's usually what it is. And they just keep repeating the cycle over and over and over again. They're going to teach their children inadvertently or directly that is how they're supposed to be. And then the generational curse just continues, right? Where their daughters will grow up and they will have multiple baby dads and they will be chasing these bad men. That's all we're talking about. That's all we're saying. So this guy, he went on a fairy tale world thinking that us guys are saying that them not holding themselves accountable is them not raising their children. I don't know. I mean, we don't say that they don't raise their children. It's obvious that they raise their children. They may not be the best stewards of these children, but they do raise their children, right? And there are times where single mothers raise very successful children. It's just that the chance of that happening is very low. It's not as high as having 2 parents in a household. 2 parents are necessary. How do we know? Because it took 2 people to make a child. So we know that that's necessary, right? For the upbringing of the child. It takes 2 to make the child. It takes 2 to bring up or to raise a successful child in most cases. But yeah, anyways, this guy, he's a clown, man. He's a clown. I mean, I don't even want to look at the comment section, because I'm sure there's a lot of women who feel validated off of this clown. This dude's a panderer. Watch out, ladies. Anyways, next video.
I'm wanting to date. Yeah, it's limited resources out there, right?
Vivica. Vivica. When we wanted you, I ain't never felt so disrespected in my motherfucking life. When we wanted you, not only did you wait until you were 60, you waited until we wanted you when you want. You really think somebody, Vivian, who want a new 60-year-old wife, Vivian?
I'll wait. This brother, he's hilarious, man. He is. But look at Vivica on the left, though. She was, in the 90s, she was the thing, man. Let me think, because I was born in 88. I'm an old guy. I'm 35 years old, right? So I grew up. We grew up in the era of hot, beautiful black women. We had Vivica A, We had Jada Pinkett, right? We had Sana Lathan, right? Or Sanaa Lathan, Halle Berry. Damn, I cannot remember this sister's name from Harlem Nights. She was the one who worked as a prostitute, and she was like sweet talking, pillow talking with the little mobster dude. I can't remember that sister's name, but she was also in dang, what is that movie called? Oh, she was also in I cannot think of the name of the movie, but it was with Damian Wayans when he played as the superhero. She was the chick in that movie. I cannot remember her name. She has a weird name, but she's beautiful. She's probably my favorite one from the 90s. Who else do we have? There's just so many black women back then in the 90s that were just fine, man. But yeah, Vivica was one of those. She was the bomb back in the day. And I just always wondered, like, why she never settled down and had kids. But I noticed with the most beautiful black women in Hollywood, it seems like they never settled down. I know that Hollywood is filled with weird guys, right? You have a lot of guys in Hollywood that are closet or alleged to be in that closet, like Will Smith and stuff like that, you know. But I never understood why she never got married and had kids. But now it's like she, over the decades, have turned into this super feminist, right? And now she's just bashing all men. And then also she augmented her face too, you know what I'm saying? So that's another thing too. But she's 60, and then she's finally saying that she wants to settle down, that she's putting in applications for boyfriends. She's searching for a husband. You're 60. You're literally 60 years old. Like, this woman's old enough to be my mother. She's old enough to have given birth to me, right? This lady is 25 years older than me. Like, and now you're finally putting an application in for a husband? Like, lady, you're probably gonna kick rocks in like 10 to 15 years. I don't know. I don't get it. And she was beautiful. She was beautiful. I don't know what she did to herself, why she did that to herself with her face, but she was beautiful, man. Look at her on the left. Look at her on the right. Look at her on the left. Now look at her on the right. I would have, now granted, if she had a great attitude, right, a great personality, skills and stuff like that, I would have easily taken her out of the market, like, for real. Because she was fine, man. She was bad back then. When she was in the movie Independence, ooh, boy, I tell ya. But now I'm looking at her and she's not really that recognizable. I mean, sure, we've grown used to her current look. It's gotten worse over the years, but now she's 60. She's changed her physical appearance to where she looks plastic, right? And now she has this very feminist supremacist ideology, right? Attitude. She's very aggressive. You know, I've seen her, you know, speak to people. She was talking crap about Kevin Samuels. Yeah, I feel bad for the fool who decides that they want to be with that woman. I feel bad for the fool who's like, oh, she got money, let me get her for money and then divorce her. I'm sure she's gonna give you hell all the way, and that's not gonna be worth it. I'm sure she's smart enough to know to sign some type of prenup to where you won't be able to get anything out of her. But yeah, I mean, man, Vivica, hey, come on. Yeah, you're past your prime. You're like that banana that is super brown, right? And I'm not even talking about brown spots. I'm talking about completely brown. The inside is mushy. No one's gonna want to eat you. I don't mean it like that, but just like no one wants to eat that banana, no one's gonna want to be with you, Vivica, because you are that banana. You know, 60 She's 60. I believe she's 59, but still 60 years old though. Nah, you passed that prime. Yikes. Yikes.
Who? When we wanted you. When you want us. You probably finna have the nerve to be picky.
I hope not.
I just don't understand. Like, in that 60, you still got all this motherfucking neck rolling ass, twisted up face ass. Bitch.
I just, it's limited resources out there.
Shut up, Vivica Fox.
I'm wanting to date, yeah.
Hey, Kevin Samuels, man. He's that dude, man. Yeah, rest in power to that, man. Rest in power to that, brother. But anyways, next video.
So we gotta talk about Vivica. All right, so how old is Vivica? Let me go look. Just look and see how old she is. Shit. Okay, first of all, Vivica is 59.
Yikes. I mean, look at her face, though. She looks like something. I know she looks like Medea. Oh my God. She looks like Medea. Wow. I should get a comparison and show you guys, but we all know what Medea looks like, right? Tyler Perry's Medea looks just like her. Oh my God, that's bad.
She's 60, but this is not. I'm not gonna.
It's not flattering.
Like other people did. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. The wig is bad. First of all, yes, she looks like Tyler Perry a little bit, but
I was just saying that. She looked just like Medea, bro. You can't tell me she doesn't look like Medea. Oh, that's all bad, y'all. What did she do to herself? Like, why? Why? Like, she was a beautiful woman. I don't get it. Like, was her face falling apart? Like, did she break her nose or something like that? She had to get facial reconstruction surgery. I don't know. She used to look very beautiful. I want to say when she started to mess with 50 Cent, that's when she started to play in her face a little bit. But before that, she was amazing. I mean, the crazy thing is that, you know, you have people in Hollywood who do that quite often. Like even Jada Pinkett, she's playing in her face now. She's been doing that for, I want to say, like the past 5 years. She started to get fillers in her face, and you know, she's starting to look weird. She's starting to go down that Little Kim avenue, which we see Vivica at right now, right? And they do this. I don't get it. I really don't. Because there are women who age gracefully, and I'm sure she didn't play in her face, she would have aged gracefully. Granted, she take care of herself. She has the money to do so, but as we see, Vivica is not as small as she used to be, right? I don't get it. Like, okay, I'm a big guy, right? I'm in the process of losing weight. I've actually lost a lot of weight from last year, right? But I don't get it. When you have all this money, why is it that a lot of people, these sisters in particular, for example, they have a lot of money and yet they're still overweight? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, do you not have enough time in the day? Are you not disciplined enough? What is it? Because a lot of times, you know, people who are, you know, middle class, lower middle class, whatever, the average person, they usually keep their weight because they cannot afford to buy healthy foods. They can't afford to buy workout equipment or sometimes even gym memberships, right? And me personally, I know that it's easier to work out when you have the equipment in your home to do so, right? There's less stress involved, less anxiety, whatever. Vivica, she could easily afford to build a home gym, a nice home gym, eat good food, you know, healthy food, to go on these diets that are costly, right? Yet she doesn't do that. People like her don't do it. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But Yeah, man. Crazy, man. Like, I don't get it why they play in their faces. Like, she would have been beautiful. She would have been beautiful had she left her face alone. She would have been a beautiful 60-year-old. Now she just looks terrible. She looks absolutely terrible. She looks like Medea. Man, people are so afraid of aging. Aging is natural. You're not going to look young forever. I would rather look old. I'd rather have wrinkles and to look natural and normal than to look like a blow-up doll, because that's what they look like. I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass or anything like that, but that's what she looks like. She looks weird.
This is not from aging. This is what happens when you get filler like every 2 weeks for years and years and years. Your face just gets really fat. It just because that filler has to go somewhere, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You'll see this in a lot of really older drag queens, or really older, some of the first generation of the transsexual girls, like the ones that are in their 60s and 70s. They have this big, really round face, and it's due to constant injection.
You know, I wonder, can you get rid of that? Like, I don't know what the fillers are. I don't know if they're like liquid or if there's some type of like solid, but I wonder, does it like dissolve in your body? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but what she cannot fix is that nose. Naturally, I'm sure that nose will not change on its own. I mean, it just looks weird. It looks very concave. It doesn't look natural. And then the cheeks are just so bulgy and Vivica, what did you do? She looks terrible.
So, I mean, it's not that she looks bad. It's just that we know what she used.
You tell me she doesn't look bad? You're telling me she doesn't look bad? Why would you lie like that? She's a whole damn demon for that, man. Look. That is evil. Do not lie to that woman like that. There's no need to lie. She looks bad. She looks awful. She looks terrible. What you mean she doesn't look bad? I'm sorry. She looks awful. And I feel bad for her, man. Because when you go that far to do that type of work to your face, obviously you're suffering from self-esteem issues, and you are going through something psychologically, because any normal, sane person will not do that to their face. Like, she's definitely suffering from something psychologically. I honestly believe either they're going through something emotionally, they've been through something traumatic, you know, or they're just not there. I feel like those are the type of people who do this to themselves. A normal person will not do that to themselves. Sure, she may seem happy on the outside, but I can tell you deep down inside, she don't like herself, because only people who do this to themselves don't like themselves. Yeah, and don't take this as me beating down on Vivica. I'm actually saddened because, like I said, she was one of the I want to say she was, I'm not going to say what Charlemagne the God says about these women, right? The vintage, whatever. But she was one of those. She was one of those women back in the day, man. And it's sad to see her fall so far from grace, man. I remember how she was in the 90s. She seemed like a great person, and she was very beautiful. And it's probably the reason why she's so bitter now is because, I don't want to say it's necessarily because of everything that she went through in her past, but now I think the reason why she's so bitter is because no one's checking for her anymore. She was probably so used to being the most beautiful woman in the room, right? Everybody was checking for her. People wanted her in their movies, right? She was in Independence Day, but she was in movies. She was in Soul Food. You know, she was in several other movies, right? People were checking for her back then. She was beautiful. She was young. But now since she's injected her face with all this crap and she's older, people are not checking for her anymore. So of course she moved from being normal over to this super feminist, right? Sad. It really is.
To look like, and most people don't realize that this is what happens when you give filler like that, back to back to back to back to back.
That was super random. My dude was over there rolling up. He looking like, okay. Hopefully she ain't one of those women making bad decisions. Be accountable for your actions. Anyways, guys, that is all for right now. But if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. So, hey, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
That was pathetic. Flawless victory.